Hey everyone, so welcome back to our weekly development tips. This week we're going to be exploring another wonderful question that's come in from one of our subscribers. What we're going to be looking at is tarot card lessons made easy. We're going to be highlighting the devil card. Help! I got the devil card. Just absolutely wonderful. Something we can really get our teeth into. So the question was, hi Shane, I'm a bit concerned about the results I've got. I only ever brought one deck and haven't gone on to search for the right one for me. I asked the same questions you recommended. What it was, I was recommending an exercise that you can kind of work with your cards to kind of begin to build a relationship with them. I kind of, always say that the way forwards in our development is by doing, is by practicing. Knowledge we can read, knowledge we can find in books. Wisdom comes from experience, and the more we work with that, the more direct experience we have, the more we kind of are able to kind of enrich where we are and strengthen and expand what we know, and the only way we do that is by practically applying and building through experience. So I was suggesting a technique and an exercise to begin to build a relationship with your cards. So it was over a few questions. I will put a link to that video within this video, so you'll get an idea and maybe even use the exercise. So I asked the same questions you recommended. I asked what card sums up your personality. So it was about kind of connecting with your tarot deck, kind of sitting quietly, holding the cards and asking what card sums up its personality. Give it a shuffle and then pull out the card. Okay, so the lady, she pulled out the devil card. She pulled out the devil card, and she goes on to say, I asked what card sums up your personality and I drew the devil card. And then she went on to ask a few other questions. Next, what areas of life do you specialise in? And she got the 9 of Wands. After that, I asked how it can best help me, and I drew the 4 of Wands. Lastly, I asked what quality is most important in a tarot reader, and got the 7 of Coins. She goes on to say, should I get rid of this deck and find another? So I really want to discuss the devil card. And I want to go, fairly deep into this. Now, I'm using today, to kind of explore this with you guys, my first ever pack of cards that I ever got, which is the Greek mythology cards. So the Greek mythology cards, and this deck is the original set of cards I first got, which is around about 26 years old. And I've kind of looked after it. It's journeyed with me. I then went on to use the Psi cards, which I really love. They're very, very, very straightforward. There's some very, very powerful kind of symbolic messages within the cards, and they've got just a lovely feel to them. But I first started to develop with the Greek mythology tarot cards. Now, the devil card, okay, major arcana, one of the major players within the pack, and I think there's a lot of misunderstanding around this card, so the lady asked what personality sums up the deck's card, okay, and the devil card come out. Now, the thing is with the devil card, what I really get with this, what I feel, okay, so this may not be the case for everybody, but what I feel with this card is it pulls upon our fears. Okay, so there's a lot of kind of fear around and misunderstood information around the devil. The first thing is to not be afraid of using the cards. Okay, if you're afraid of using the cards, then maybe it isn't the right time to use them. The other kind of thing is to know that this is an iconic symbol. Now for me, if this kind of come up in a reading, I would be really kind of sensing that the person, so let's have a look here. Let's get the lady's name. Okay, let's find it. Okay. Minnie, thank you. I think it's pronounced Minnie. Do forgive me if that's wrong. Minnie, I kind of feel that in some ways, you know, that this may be talking to you directly, in the sense of, if I pick this up and I turn this over within a consultation, I would be kind of saying that in some ways you can be very, very hard on yourself. You can actually be extremely hard on yourself. You can be your own worst enemy. And sometimes there is a huge amount of anxiety with you. This is something innately that you really want to develop and you really want to grow. But there is a lack of self-belief. You know, there are times you are hugely hard on yourself and you do not believe in yourself and you do not believe in your own ability enough. Now the thing is, I get a sense of, you know, Spirit do believe in you. If they believe in you, then actually what you want to do gently is work on developing that belief of self. And it is easier said than done. Absolutely understand that and totally respect it, but in a way this card kind of represents being hard on oneself, being tough on oneself, being one's own worst enemy, in a way self-sabotaging. Okay, self-sabotaging. So I'm not surprised that this major card has come up for you in the way that it is. You know, it is you asking what personality sums the deck up. You know, what card represents the personality of the deck, and the Devil's come up. You know, and actually, you know, this is kind of, in a way, I would say it's the subconscious that is working around you. That it is your subconscious that we're tapping into here. Is that I feel that, you know, you can trip yourself up. You know, you can kind of start to move forwards, and then without realizing it, you subconsciously can trip yourself up. You're really, really hard on yourself, and sometimes without realizing it, you'll find a block, or you'll find a way of not going forward, you know, because what begins to happen is you start to feel as if you're moving outside of your comfort zone. Things start to become uncomfortable for you. And as we always say, Spirit, the innate, and I say, it's about becoming comfortable with the uncomfortable. So this is moving you outside of your comfort zone. You know, I kind of feel that this is a card, as I've always said, you know, the cards are a call to action. This is a call to action to kind of overcome that innate disbelief that you have in yourself, that innate part of you that sometimes can trip yourself up, that innate part of you that can be hard on yourself, give yourself a tough time. And in a way, you know, that aspect of you pulls upon your strings. You know, it's very much in a way in control of you. It holds you prisoner, it holds you back. Hope that makes sense to you, but I certainly don't feel that you need to go out and get rid of the deck that you're working with and go and find another. However, it's all about working with a deck that you're really comfortable with. You know, this is my deck that I've had for 26 years, the Greek mythology cards. And yet I then went on to work with the Psi cards. Funny enough, look at that as a message. Liberation. Okay, I said to you, you know, don't hold yourself prisoner. And then we've got the Liberation card there just coming through in the Psi cards. You know, they are very, very kind of clear. They're very powerful. And I think that is a very profound message for you, Minnie. Yes, you know, and I'm really, really comfortable with that deck. I love these, but I kind of move on to them. And if you kind of look, the major arcana in the Greek mythology is very, very kind of powerful. They're very visual. There's a couple I'm going to show you. The World card, you know, there's a real sense of unity, a wholeness and completion. Lovely, beautiful card. And I think that from each consultation to each consultation, you're going to see different things, you're going to feel different things, you're going to read different things. And here we have the Death card as well. It's a very, very powerful image within the Greek mythology. Very powerful image. But again, none of these cards should be feared. They're a tool. And as I say to you, if you are kind of fearful of working with them, maybe now is not the time to be working with them. And to kind of just allow them to speak for you, build that relationship. But I do find, where is it gone? Liberation card, which jumped out. She's here somewhere. You know, there's so many different iconic cards within the side cards as well. You know, that really, really speak very clearly, which is why I love working with them. One of the reasons why, here we go, liberation. The reason why I love working with them is that actually the clients I get to work with, when I turn these cards over, they're already kind of tapping into them. They're already themselves allowing the card to speak to them, which is powerful in its own right. But here we are, liberation. I really do feel, Minnie, that there is a sense of feeling suppressed or held back, and partly that's been the environment around you or some of the individuals within your world, and then that's taken hold subconsciously, and then that runs through your subconscious in the way that you kind of interact with yourself, or the way that you think about yourself, in the way that you think about things as you go forwards, which in a way, you know, does not surprise me that this card come up. Has someone told you that working with the cards is wrong or bad, or even evil? You know, there's so much misunderstanding and misassociation sometimes to this card, but I'm wondering if someone's told you that you shouldn't be working with them. I'm going to leave that with you all. I hope that's given you some insight. You know, kind of the reversed aspect to that could be, as I've said it, you know, I've tapped into what could be the shadow aspect of it. You know, the other side of this is, I think it has associations to Pan, and that's that raw, you know, so we could have read it, if you like, reverse, meaning I don't tend to read the cards reverse with the side cards, at least with the tarot I used to, but I allow them to speak to me. But you know, the other side, the flip side of it, is that raw, latent, innate energy. You know, if you kind of look at Pan, it's kind of this wild energy, this call to be kind of free, and allowing themselves to express all the aspects of being human. You know, the human desire, the human longing. You know, I have an absolute love to be in wild landscapes because they're so raw, untamed, not controlled or kind of, you know, confined. It's all that sense of just bursting into wild, raw, free energy, which is, I feel, another aspect of this card, especially with its associations to kind of Pan. And if you look within the Celtic and pagan traditions, you know, Pan was a very powerful kind of symbol, which is that kind of raw nature. And in a way, he got demonized. He then turned into this devil type creature, which maybe, you know, the church kind of misinterpreted to kind of throw people away from, you know, kind of worshipping the old traditions and the old ways. So there's so much information there that you could probably draw out of it, but I certainly feel it's not one to fear. Gonna leave that with you. Hope that's been interesting, and as always, if you do have any questions, do feel free to put a comment below. If you're watching this on our Facebook page, we have a whole wealth of resources, as I always say, on our YouTube channel, if you search for Shane Gadd. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you want to connect with our daily content, you can find us on Facebook, Spirit Meets Adventure, and there's also links to my website, all in within the video. Speak soon, guys. Take care. Bye bye.